first time. So once again, you're welcome. We've been live for some 5 minutes. I thought I've clicked go live and we apparently haven't. So anyways, we cannot start the intro anymore. All I just want to say is you're welcome and let's get going. Let's keep moving. And so today we, like you can see in the description, we're reviewing the analysis we gave on Monday for the forecast of the week, and we would definitely also look intraday if there are any analysis we have for the market, likely point of entry, executions we would be taking, and how we would manage our risk. By the way, I also mentioned just moments before, some of you might be seeing this. If you do not have a crypto account, because we also analyze cryptocurrencies, you would need one. You could make do with the codes you have on the screen right now, be it Binance, BitGet, or Gate.io. And of course, I would appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube channel, giving us following. This is MTP with Georg, MyTradingPal. We hope to do more of analysis and live, sessions to connect with traders and, walk the journey of trading together, right? So we need to get into the meat of the matter. We begin with gold. Our analysis for gold, if you were with us on Monday when we did our analysis, we were like, the market is likely bullish until proved otherwise, and it is very much ridiculous to be thinking of picking a buy, because on a weekly time frame, let me hide all these stops are drawn on my chart. On a weekly time frame, you clearly could see gold really at a critical peak. It has overbought, and at some very clearly near point, it will sell. And apparently we just can't time the sell, but certain conditions need to be met for us to be guaranteed on what time it's going to be that we're selling. Just a moment. I want to check out if we indeed have gone live on my mobile. So yes, I think it's great. I'm always very excited to see that our live stream is running, and I am quite glad that it is running. So since there are no delays of any kind and there are no disturbance of any kind, I think we just have to continue, right? So yes, let's keep going. So what we can clearly say from the chart, you all guys can see, is the market is extremely bullish on gold. I'm not using any volume indicator or whatever it is, just looking at the market purely for what it is. And from the weekly time frame, I clearly could see that gold has been breaking structure. I would have to draw. Yes, it has been breaking structure, which is a shift. You could see that we saw that outrightly on Monday when we were checking the market, that fine, then definitely there will be at some point where gold will retrace the break of structure it has created, right? And we're expecting a likely sell, but of course we're expecting a certain condition to be met, and one of the condition that for me I think should be met is the grab of buy sell liquidity and followed by a grab on sell liquidity and a fair retracement. So on a weekly time frame, this particular candle, which is this red, this black one, the selling candle, outrightly didn't take out buy sell liquidity, and for me that was one red flag for us to think we are going to be selling. Although it took out sell liquidity, which is the liquidity below this candle, this weekly candle for Monday the 22nd of December 2025, it went slightly below it, and that's the reason we must be careful. Of course, it went above right now, as you can see, and of course that's really short above. And so the condition for me to think of a selling market is going to be something like this. Just imagine this is a candle. Let me quickly take this off and do my quick annotation. Okay, just imagine that let me change the color for context's sake. All right, a green candle, right? Just imagine that's a green a green candle. Okay, not that, something like that, where we have that kind of green candle, and you want to be so sure we have an idea of what the market is going to be doing the previous week. My condition for us to think a likely buy or sell is on just simple things. If this were a weekly candle and we've seen the market forming like this in a weekly chart, my expectation would be, even if and of course that's a top, like the peak of a move, right? I would expect something to happen, which is this. Even if the body of the candle is going to be the same or slightly different, those are not all that matters. What matter is that the candle that's going to be following that is going to be having its candle wick slightly above this, for the buy sides, it's going to take out buy side, and it's going to clearly take out sell side. In fact, it's very much beautiful if the body of the candle, closes really below it like that, and that is definitely forming a weekly bearish order block, as you all guys can see. Let me change this one to the black candle. And so I think it makes sense, if you understand what I'm saying, that certain condition has to be met before we could consider one as a selling candle. So this should happen where we have the market, let me just take this like this. Oh boy, sorry. Where is my chart? Yeah. So where you have the market slightly, for me, taking out this liquidity. I always love it when the market does something like that. It takes out the liquidity resting above this previous week's candle, and it tells us, hey, we've taken out every sell intent, right? And that one, and we've shifted structure, which is what I think the market is apparently going to be doing right there. So I call this one a BSL for the sake of our analysis sake, which is a buy side liquidity, and I call this one a shift. I sometimes call it BOS. Anything could be used interchangeably, so I call it shift, and that is clearly saying, all right, this is giving me an hint that I could take a sell. So I'm going to be looking out for the next candle, which is the next week's candle or next day candle into the new week. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like a Monday candle opening, or I'm going to be targeting like Tuesday or Wednesday, where we're going to likely pick out for our trade. I would want to see how the candle opens, and I'm going to be targeting something like that. So for a sell, I would like to look out for this kind of apologies thing playing out. Exactly. So the body of the candle, I don't expect, if it's a selling scenario, oftentimes we don't have huge body of the candle coming that way, but of course we can have the candle wick going down that high, and then the body of the candle could be forming this way, something like this. And so what you are seeing is clearly the picture of a perfect selling condition, where of course there's a shift after a buy side liquidity taking, and then the market, of course, it opened upwards. Please bear in mind that a bearish candle opens upward, the body of the candle is like that, and at this time, of course, it's green, something like this. Where is the color again? Oh boy, where is that color? Yeah, it opened something like that as a green, and then when it begins to sell, the selling prayer due to the other blocks in the lower time frame, say 4 hour, 1 hour, it begins to turn black, like turn to the red, to the selling candle, and we have it that way. And this mirrors what I'm saying, because the condition has been met here, at least 1, 2, good check, and I go to the lower time frame to find confirmation. So having borne this in mind, I'm saying concerning what we are seeing here in this particular candle, it didn't satisfy that condition, right? Where the weekly candle following this particular one takes out the liquidity before the former one. And since that didn't happen, I became skeptical of a sell right around this region, which is very much explainable for why we were like, you know what, though we should be looking out for a sell around this top, we must let the conditions be fully satisfied, which they weren't. So we were of the opinion, since this didn't sell, it's very clear there is a flip zone here. I think I draw the flip zone. This is the flip zone, and that even though we were looking for on a daily time frame, the conditions seem to be met in a sense, but not really. It didn't. Okay, it didn't. Sorry, I thought it did. Yeah, it didn't. So it didn't meet that condition, and of course you could see very massive, daily candle closure. So this must have been seen as a very good point to think of a sell, but it didn't happen. And of course, the shift happened. This is a shift. This is a shift, right, above the previous week's high, right? And clearly, the market took out liquidity. We expected a retracement at least to this level before we continue, because we just have to keep the trend, like making the trend our friend. So since that's the condition, we just have been watching, and of course we were of the opinion we should take a buy. I think we gave a buy zone somewhere. I've just taken out the chart, apologies. We gave a buy zone somewhere here. Where was that? I think somewhere here. After thinking that out, it didn't happen. The market pushed ahead, and we're of the opinion, let it just come slightly here. We marked out this, and I think another one maybe here and here. We were like, we take a buy, but the market didn't actually get there. We're currently here, and we're trading in between the zone. What's been the market doing? So we didn't take a buy here, but of course, in the course of the week, I took a couple of sales. I'm going to be reviewing the sales I took shortly for you guys to see. And of course, they've, by God's grace, been closed profitably. I mean, I'm super excited of that. So this is one of those sales you can see on the screen. This one, So we took a sell. Let me, make the exact mention of the point on MT5. And by the way, I'm trading this asset, gold, like as a metal, on BitGet. It could sound funny, but that's the truth. So the sell we took were about 2 or 3 sales, I think 3 or 4. So so yes, we took a sell on, let me just, last week, yeah. So we took a sell on gold at 46100 on the 13th of, okay, let me start with the earliest. It was like we just took a sell one day, which was 13th yesterday. That's all the sell we took. So we took a sell on gold and GBP. So the sell we took on gold was at on 13th, right, yesterday. And the time stamp I'm saying here is, the first one is was a loss at $4,613.44. We took a sell at the time stamp is 4:43 p.m. Let's quickly check out for that time. 4:43. That okay, let me take it back to Africa time. Lagos. It's 1 GMT, UTC +1 Lagos. All right, so I think I've reviewed that right now. So since that is clear, it was yesterday what time? 4:43 p.m. 4:43 p.m. This was, wait, 4, somewhere around here. All right, so you see, it was 4:43, right? Exactly, 4:43. So it was somewhere around there. We took the, let me take this out. We took the sell around this point, 4:43 p.m. And of course, it was a 0.01 lot size. 4:43 p.m. and 11 seconds. We closed that. I think that was when we closed the trade. Maybe we entered at, yeah, we entered 4,613. Yes, somewhere around here, I guess. Perhaps I should do a 5-minute chart so we could be able to relate more closely. So yeah, I know a lot of candlesticks, right? But then it makes our explanation understandable. So 4:43 p.m. is somewhere around here. That's 16:43, right? We took an entry at 4:43 p.m. at 4613, somewhere around here, right? 4613.44. right, somewhere like that. And then we closed because we saw the market likely going upward. Of course, we closed around 4620. It was a -6 because we're trying to do a sniper entry, I must be honest with you guys. So 4620, we literally closed at a very peak, 4620.4, and the market seemed to drop, but then we quickly entered at around we set, when we saw this shift in structure, we set a limit entry. It was a limit entry, yes, at 4629. I don't know where that 4629 was. Wait, 4629. I think this was the 4629. Maybe I'm making a wrong calculation. So 4629 was the trade we entered, and we entered at 4619. Was a couple of sell. We out closed those trade at 4617 for the 4629 trade and 4605 for the 4619 trade, and like that we did on GBP. We also entered a short, which is the reason why we also have a short currently running on GBP. Just to make it clear, we had a bit of profit. Honestly, all trade were profitable, and even though we had the first one being a loss, it eventually made the whole account a green. So as it stands, that's where we are on the old trade we took. And I think, looking at the chart, you would make more sense of it. So we had most of the trade calls like that, traded between here and here. Some were exited midpoint. We didn't even wait for take profit, most of them, because we wouldn't let greed enter the whole thing we were doing. I think for me, that was the call point of the whole analysis we made and the whole trade call we have been able to interact with or execute. So those are the trades, all profitable, except the one we're currently running today, which I still hope it's gonna be profitable. I'm gonna review the trade call. This is it. I don't know if you guys can see this. We have this analysis on GBP. We were of the opinion, let me just do a quick rundown on the analysis for you guys so you could see for GBP. So for GBP, you clearly could see it's been making a lot of shift and been nicely taking out taking its buy zones. Quickly, let me change this to my color. All right, so you clearly could see that it's been shifting and of course returning back to points of nice entries like that. That's GBP. it's been doing that. And of course, it's in agreement to something I would like to, show you guys, right? So you see, I would love to show you something on a daily time frame, I guess. So let's do it like that. On the daily time frame, you'd see, apologies for the different colors. This was a long time analysis. So you could see there was a sell here. My goodness, let's just make it this way. So let me take this and turn it to a reddish, my best red color. So yeah, so you could see that that's a zone of resistance for the GBP, and it's crossed over into the into that zone, and it hasn't broken above that particular zone. And clearly it's been trading upwards like that a little bit, and when it gets to this particular top, for some reasons it drops entirely back down like that, and we already expected something like this to eventually happen. And so it barely happened right here and bounced into this imbalance, and then it was a very nice entry zone. But then something is really beginning to pique our interest. When this happen, we expect the market to just be moving like that sideways till it breaks above, and it could still happen. Why? Because there are liquidities resting above this zone. I'm going to be showing that to you quickly. So that's a liquidity zone. It's a buy side zone, and clearly the market reacted off this to this point. But then I noticed this reaction. I called it a reaction because it is a reaction. I mean, look at that. It's a fair value gap right there, and the market tapped into that zone right quickly. And we have a candle wick, a daily candle closing, grabbing buy side liquidity above this point, and then the the daily candle began to take sell side like that until we have taken this sell side entirely. And so I identify this to be a shift. It has shifted liquidity. It has shifted bias, and I was expecting a bit of retracement for a continuation downwards, because this is where the whole story changed. From we going entirely upwards, it looks like the market is flipping to come to test some fair value gaps. I mean, this is one fair value gap, and there are way other fair value gaps resting below. And so from the daily perspective, I mean, the condition for a sell was met in a sense, because it tapped into a fair value gap, and that's a good reason, at least, for the market to consider dropping lower. And so for on a lower time frame, say the 4 hours time frame, which is PAL for the recent time, we saw the buy side liquidity happening, and of course this shift happening. We identify that, oh wow, the market is nicely reacting to key levels, including this fair value gap. And so for yesterday's trade, I literally saw all of those and I marked them out, and I'm like, okay, fine, if that's the case, then we could risk taking a short to this level. So for yesterday, I specifically, let's make it very much clearer, I specifically took a sell from here, right? I was thinking of taking, I literally took it right here because I was targeting liquidity resting below here, and I exited quite early. Yes, even though I knew the market could drop lower. But then when that drop happened, it only further confirmed our thesis, right? As you can see, that the market is now taking out buy side liquidities. As you can see, it took it out, and then it took that out, and then it shifted. And I expected a retracement, because if you use your Fibonacci, or my own is the Gann box, I see the market is already at a critical level. So I began entering from here. Why? Fair value gap. So that was my reason for entry. I actually set the limit order right here, and I entered right here. Truth to it, it could go higher. And by higher, I mean this particular point. This is the final point of entry, and any flip above this zone will only confirm that the market is no more bullish. So the analysis on GBP is very simple, which is the review. We're currently in a trade, right? We're currently in a running GBP trade, and we have our stop loss set right here. And the likely next point of entry, if that one gets knocked out, is that point, and that will be the last trade in GBP. I'm very much optimistic, because the truth is this fair value gap should bring the market down, but what if the candle has closed like that? And that's my concern. But then the market on in the forex market, it's not a one-sided thing where you could have one rule controlling everything. You have to interact with the market. So when I come to, let's say, a 15 minutes chart, which I didn't, honestly, I must confess to you guys, I didn't check. I just checked like that, and I'm like, okay, fine, this is good. And the 15 minutes candle still shows that there is a liquidity resting here. Look at that. And so I'm becoming skeptical of likely setting another entry right there, because I think I'm a bit confident of the sell. So I'm likely going to be setting another entry right there, just not to, because I've not yet, my stop loss is there, but at a point I feel led to take it out. So I took it out. So funny. I am having this trade opened right now, and I'm probably going to be setting another entry right here. So just right above this candle wick, right? Something like 1.346, 1.34. Yeah, there 1.3460, and of course the stop loss is going to be above this candle wick. Yeah, so exactly. So I think the whole thing is very clear: the take profit or the target profit for this whole trade. And this is my trade. I don't have a trade running on gold yet, because the condition for taking a short or a long is not been met by my own analytical stance. And yeah, I think that is it. This is the first liquidity target for any trade taken on GBP at the moment, by what I could infer. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I'm looking at. And if you have any other suggestion, I mean, you guys could actually be of help. What do you think I should do with the trade? If you have any comment. So these are the two, like, the kind of target profit we should be expecting to, of course, happen when it comes to the GBP, Great Britain pounds trade as at today. So very much of the opinion that we should keep our eyes on how the market plays out. So I think this is the current stance for the analysis today. And I for one think, okay, now since this is very much clear, can we just, beyond doing review and market structure and intraday, talk about trade entries and management. So the truth is, when it comes to trading, your risk management is king, because the truth is, when we're trading not to make all the money we need to make in a day. We're trading to ensure we are able to still keep trading, and that's why protecting your capital remains king. Stop losses are important, and I'm not someone that fought stop loss use. I mean, the example I give the right time of me saying I felt led to do this is totally a different scenario, and there might be lessons I just have to take out from that. So where I'm driving at is, well, if you still want to get on this trade, well, as much as market entry looks very much great and tempting, I probably will tell you to set a limit order right at 1.346. The stop loss at 1.34743, right, just right above this point. I think it's going to be good to set your take profit. First one being 1.3417, as you all guys can see. I'm going to keep a screenshot of this, and I'll likely make reference of this back in our next or subsequent live session. And so this is analysis on GBP, and it's a review, and of course I've given a market entry. Your stop losses is important, and it's a non-negotiable when it comes to you trading in the financial market, right? It's the truth, because you just can't have everything all certain. It's a game of probability, and being able to cut your loss is very much important. So by the way, I'm going to be setting a limit order, a limit entry for this trade. I think it could actually happen, because the way the market is acting, I think this could actually happen. So 1.346. I think I'm going to set it 1.346. I think it's probably going to be happening very much soon. So guys, this is it about trading. It's 1.346. So let's do it. It's more of a war, as you might assume. 1.346, right? 1.346, that's the entry. 1.3460, the stop loss 1.347. 72743. So you heard that, right? So I just place that limit entry, yeah, and I'm hopeful. I mean, even if it spills, I mean, liquidity rise now to that point to quickly peak, we just keep watching that, right? 30 minutes candle is open, and that's all for our trade on GBP. So while I'm rounding this off, I would love to look into Bitcoin. So I had a live stream yesterday on BitGet Live, and I was telling people who joined to pick some coins. If you following me on LinkedIn, or you're connected with me on LinkedIn, you'd see I mentioned a particular coin called Odin. I was trading at $3 at the time of the post, and guess what? Currently the coin is trading at about 5 points. Let's even check it out. So ORDI, let me leave my GBP chart and come here. ORDI USD. Yes, boy, oh boy, this is likely going to be happening quick. I'm just very much expectant and optimistic that it's not going to shoot above, because these are the things that sometimes give concerns and worries. But this is the trade. I think I'll just leave it like that. So this is Ordinal, right? And you could go check the chart. I literally made this post this particular day, and it has gone like that. I mean, from the point of making this post, which was today, to now, it has done 20 or 18% as a market price. And so if you're going to be asking me, what do I think I want to do? Yes, I'm going to be buying this coin on spots. I'm going to do it. I'll do my analysis right, and it's going to be at a key level. From here to here is a good buy point. the current point where it is at, let me change the color of that to, these other zones. They are a great point to place a buy order. No jokes. And so you might want to consider that and ask yourself, oh, well, why are we buying ordinal? Well, you need to look at it from a higher time frame. You need to know crypto is not just a forex market or the forex market. It's a very interesting market where you have to learn so much of what you think the market is likely to be doing. So look at this right now. Now, it literally had both its bullish cycle and bearish cycle entirely completed, and I think it might just be preparing for a new bounce up. And this might just be the opportunity some other persons are waiting for, and I think perhaps we shouldn't miss out on that. And so that we're doing trading doesn't mean we should lock down on forex alone. Crypto, stocks, and every other markets are of great importance when it comes to our analysis. And I, for one, think it's necessary, very necessary, for us to just look keenly at what we think the market is doing and draw conclusions on the market. So for me, on what's it called, on oh my god, on ordinal, this is the best time to pick. So there are a few other coins, but then let's do analysis on Bitcoin so we can quickly wrap things up. Please, if you have questions, you can drop in the live session. I'm actually looking. If you've got questions and you want answers or clarity on some other things, you can actually drop them and we can look into your questions and discuss about them. So drop your questions, or you have suggestions, you have assets you want us to analyze about. The live session is for us to enjoy. So yes, let's have your questions. I think those are very much important. So let's take a short moment of break. Yeah, I'm still here with us. On the shift, I sometimes view it anything interchangeably, so I call it shift, and that's okay. Guys, I think we have to, apologies for the sound. So I think we just have to move right on to analyzing the market. So look at this. We gave this analysis the last time on Bitcoin. I believe we all are aware of this chart. And I pulled up a chart the other time, which I would love to, if you don't mind, pull up not gold, which is my conventional BTC chart. It's kind of a bit messy, but yeah, I think it has quite some interesting details that I would love to always keep, right? So yeah, so look at this. Ask yourself this, looking at this on a daily time frame, what you think at first glance, and your take about the markets. Let me just make it a bit cleaned up so you could actually be able to see some few more details. Yeah, ask yourself at first glance, what do you think about this market, and your take about yeah, about this particular other market. So what I clearly can see is, yes, there is a shift in market structure here, and yes, there's another one right here, but the range we marked, which is between here and this point, is still in view until the market breaks above 96k, right? We know it's out of range. In a sense, it looks like it's already out of range because this particular move is very huge, and I agree. I definitely agree. Now, the truth remains that since this market is like this, what do I think is likely the market is going to be doing? I think it's likely going to be going, let me take this off, because we predicted the last time on Bitcoin that it could go up first and then drop down, or go down first and go up and then perhaps come down. But then I think we need to let the market move so our predictions can be data backed. And so there is a bullish projection apparently on the Bitcoin market, and until this particular sell side is taken, we don't think the market is bearish yet. That stands. And so since that stands, we have a outlook on the Bitcoin market. My outlook remains that since there is a shift right here, I'm not going to be expecting so much retracement. Trust me. Before we continue, I think what the market is likely going to be doing is something like this, right? A drawn liquidity to this side before perhaps retracing and then going higher. The reasons are simple. The body of this candle closure is very huge, and it signals a very strong thing. From the weekly time frame, you'd see that the weekly candle opening is already signaling a bullish continuation, right? It has left its candle wick just by the side, and today is Wednesday. And I think, for me, I must be honest with you, the low for the week is already set. The low is sitting at 90, let's say $90,063. 90,000. So it has had a $5,000 gap between its low and its current high. The high for the week, is sitting at $96,491, right? $96,491. So I think the high for the week is not fully set. It has smashed both the buy side of this one and this other one and this other one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-week candles high has been smashed by this week's move. And today is Wednesday, and I think we need to be factual. The market is not yet over, especially when the low is set on a Wednesday. When the low of the market on Bitcoin is set on Wednesday, then the high of the market is not been set. So that implies that as it stands today, we are likely to see more higher price playing out. And this particular buy side, the liquidity for this particular week is going to be taken very much soon. Like it or not, I think 98,000 is going to be smashed very much soon. And so I think the market is already preparing to get out of range. But whatever makes it to drop way lower to like sub 93k, I mean, it's just going to confirm the fact that, hey, there is a range still in view. Okay, so since we've made this clear, I think my interest for analyzing the Bitcoin market is not because I want to go long futures, right? No, not at all. Of course, there are key gaps that you can see. There is a gap right here. Let me a demand gap. It should be extended. Sorry. And my keyboard is really been messing up badly, and I don't know what to do about it, especially my scroll down button. Okay, so you have that gap right there, and of course another fair value gap right here. So those two zones are a great point to place a long if you're thinking of taking a futures, but I think I want to consider this point because I don't want to be trading with my heart doing push-ups, right? So I think that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to expect obviously a huge market dump, honestly, because of how the market is opening. I'm going to be honest with you, I think we'll likely see a push right from around the zone where the market is to this point before we drop a little bit lower, the region of 92k, and then of course continue. So I think we are interested in a bullish market, and of course your interaction with this market calls for you to be very careful. True talk. So I think that brings us to a critical point where we'll say, yes, we have made a great deal of progress with our analysis, and what worked remains that for the gold market, it's a slightly dicey market, and you need to be careful with taking your sells and be more smart with taking your buys. I think gold is not yet fully bearish, and it hasn't made a clearly bearish stance, right? it's still very much bullish. And the same thing goes for GBP. I think GBP is a little bit bearish slightly. I think we let me show you guys again. We said that, don't forget we had an entry here that it's already underwater, as you can see, but I believe it's going to be above water soon. And we have our second point of entry, resting right above here at 1.346, and we see how we come up point of exit here first and then here. And so here, meaning if this point gets taken out, then that implies that GBP is likely going to be dropping to some very other key low. Where if this point gets taken, then I'm telling you, it's going to come for these lows and perhaps this low, and it's likely going to be that the retracement from this move is where the market is going to take a break, and that's going to be simply this. Let me just do it for you guys so you see. So this old move led to that push, and that implies the market might be gunning or having interest for zones such as this. So you just have to, perhaps when it stops here, or when it stops here, it's going to prepare for a new bounce up, or it goes all the way down. So that's pretty much our analysis on GBP. Of course, this is not a financial advice, as you can see, and I think you all are very much solidly prepared for how this whole market thing plays out. So once again, this is David L. Giod is our name, and our channel is MTP, MyTradingPal with Giod. I appreciate you joining us every moment you get on board in our live session. I also want to appreciate those of you who have taken out time to subscribe. Please, if you haven't, I'm going to be encouraging you to try to subscribe. I would appreciate that, and it's going to go a long way in making people know what we do right here on MyTradingPal. So without any further delay, I'm going to call this a close. If you've got any question, please drop them in the comment section. So above all, what you must not forget is your execution must be done with discipline, and your risk control must be done with precision and would I say discipline again? No, your risk control should be done with contentment, right? So your execution must be done with discipline, and then your your risk management should be done with contentment. Manage risk with contentment, and don't be greedy. So because that's a very terrible emotion that gets the market to take every single thing you've taken, and I'm not joking. And so you just have to let this be the compass, or the guiding compass for your trade. So we're going to be having the New York session soon. I think the London session is already over. I'm actually getting back fully into Forex this year, actually, and I hope to keep trading the market. So once again, I want to appreciate you guys for joining our stream. I am so grateful. I already have some people subscribing. It's great. Trust me, I appreciate that so much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And I think we're going to be having another live session on Friday as usual. Expect that. I think we're going to keep it about the same time. I think I'm liking this 11 o'clock West African time, which is 10 a.m. UTC. So 10 a.m. UTC plus 1. Yeah. So yeah, 10 a.m. UTC. Yes. So I think I would always be encouraged by you guys' presence. So thank you once again. I would say stay safe trading. The market is not a joking zone. It's a slaughter ground. Kill, don't be killed, and be contented with what you eventually get. I have a daily profit target. I told myself that, and I'm hoping to keep to that as we journey together. Don't forget, nobody's an island of knowledge, and we all are wanting to understand the market better and better. I'm looking forward to our questions. Any question? Let me just drop that. If anybody's not saying something, I'm gonna do. Any question, please? I'm so glad we have about 7 people watching. So I think this is great. So if there are any question, I'm gonna. By the way, I think I want to find a way to live stream also on TikTok. I'm working on that also, so we can actually get our live stream onto TikTok, and everyone there can also partake of the good of this analysis, right? So I think that's pretty it. That's pretty it. So once again, don't forget, L. Giod is my name, right? And MyTradingPal is our channel. Subscribe, follow, turn on your notification, and do well to always be there Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. West Africa time, 11 a.m. UTC. Our live stream goes, and we hope to do more videos on some key subject around trading. On to the next. Subscribe and follow. Peace out. Bye.